Hello, welcome to FDIC 2019. Lieutenant Mike Mason again here for you. It's great to be back. I want to thank Chief Bobby Halton and Diane and Ginger for having us back again. So it's always great to be out here with you guys. So we're looking forward to a great seminar. The seminar that we're going to be talking about, that I'm bringing to you this year for FDIC, is called Into the Darkness, the Search, Strategic and Tactical Search for Life. So a lot of this is based on residential search along with large area search. There's a couple of manuals you might be interested in on RICO Fire Rescue. That's our non-for-profit organization called Searching for Life for residential and large area search as well. So what is the program essentially going to be about? Well, it's pretty simple. Search principles and practices is what we're going to be reviewing. So it's called Risk versus Benefit Relating to Survivability for the civilian as well as the firefighter. Sound search techniques, sound search size-ups prior to us entering these buildings or these structures. And we know that every building and every structure should be searched when possible. And then also we're going to be talking about techniques, maneuvers, our search tools. What are we doing with that as well? Size and experience of the search team is very important. Too many members would create a search that would be too slow. Too little members would provide less accountability. So a good average size for a search team was probably between 2 and 3 people at the most. And then again, we're going to resort back to trying to reveal in the seminar search techniques, applications for various types of searches. The accuracy and the speed of the primary search, along with applying our secondary searches when needed. So the applications also apply to door control. How are we controlling doors because of this new relationship to, well, it's not new, it's actually old, but fire flow path. Also the relationship between fire flow path and VEIS as well. So we're going to be getting into that in regards to searches, fire flow path, applications for the victim, rescues, also the removals, what type of techniques maybe can we be using. We want to make sure that we're diligent on that. Interior residential searches have certain key actions that we have to be familiar with. So first of all, we want to get a good, reliable information. It'd be nice if we always knew, if we had accurate information in regards to our searches. So a resident could come up to you that actually lives in the premises. That would be very reliable information versus somebody that lives 5 or 6 doors down and he's just coming by during the course of a fire saying, hey, there might be somebody in there. So ascertain the most likely location of the victims as well. We're going to consider VEIS when the interior door or the interior stair may not be tenable. And then a constant size up of the fire. In other words, where's the fire been, where's the fire at, and where's the fire going? We're going to make sure that we're going to be isolating and controlling doors. We want to stay low for visibility. We want to always listen and feel and orientate ourselves. We have to remember that tools that we're bringing in don't necessarily find human beings. It's hands, it's the touch that we're going to be able to locate a victim and know by feel that this is a victim. Remember, we're working in zero visibility. Then we're going to be also looking at when should we be venting windows, when would that be appropriate, especially as it relates to fire flow path. So search principles are going to be incorporated into the seminar, which is good. Search accountability, communications, orientation, training methodologies. In other words, what type of training are we providing to our members at our departments when we're doing our drills? Search drills are not very conducive to the real environment, especially when we have burn towers that have long walls with no furniture on them. And here we are, we're inside, we're trying to search. But we have to realize that this is not the case in a residential search, is it? In a residential true home, we know that we couldn't possibly stay on a wall for a very long period of time whatsoever. So the chances of disorientation and losing our way becomes ever increased in this type of environment. So we have to develop systematic and rapid movements with our search. We want to have tactical and performance techniques that really work and function for the type of structure we're in. So the tools of primary search, along with the search techniques and our movement, are very important. So when we're searching in zero visibility, one thing we like to reveal to you during this seminar is under fire conditions is that the longer that we're in zero visibility, this high increased chance of us becoming lost and disoriented is always going to rear its ugly head. So we want to make sure that we can apply our tactics and strategies quickly within the structure. We want to make sure that ventilation is needed, that we should perform it. Remember that ventilation has twofold abilities to it. It can increase our visibility. It can also make things worse. Survivability could be increased for victims as well as ourselves, but it could also decrease. So ventilation dangers and considerations regarding fire flow path is very important. So during the within the fire service, UL studies have told us, and these NIST studies have told us a lot about fire flow path. We're starting to learn how to monitor fire conditions, and that when we open a door to a structure, that is going to affect fire growth and where the fire is going to go and where it's going to head. So we want to observe smoke conditions. We want to make sure that we understand what the rise and fall of smoke level is in a neutral plane versus a door or a window. We want to make sure that pulsating smoke conditions or the velocity of the smoke that's coming out of this structure may limit our time and the ability to search. So we've got to be very in tune with what's going on in regards to what we see and what our actions will be. So fire flow path and search in today's environment is very important. Structure fires are usually ventilation limited, as we know, and they also produce high heat release rates. So we've got to be conscious of that all the time, because we know that nowadays it's flashover and collapse even before we get to the fire. That's probably going to be the main occurrence if we're not keeping ourselves aware. So in the end, it's door control and trying to make sure that we are limiting the amount of flow path coming towards us, also towards the victims. VEIS is another application in regards to what we're going to look at in this seminar. VEIS means vent, enter, isolate, search. Remember, they threw the I in there quite a few years ago, and it means simply control the doors, control the amount control the amount of air possibly in the environment that may put you into trouble. So what is VEIS? And it's important. Basically, it puts us where probable victims are, avoiding maybe the interior stair. So in other words, we're bypassing the interior stair to get to these victims, or bypassing the fire. So it makes it a more we can get to the victims more quickly. But again, we're also looking at making these conditions more tenable for victims. What are we doing? Can we make things worse for them? Can we make things worse for us? So the search dynamic, depending on where we're searching in the structure, we could be, in below grade areas. How about basements? When we think about that, entering a basement is a very confined area, very dangerous. And is there even the possibility of a victim being there in the first place? So we should have good reason, to be going down into a basement, especially that's involved in fire. It would limit our amount of time, most definitely, and limit the ability of survivability. So consider these areas as having limited egress and ingress. Consider these areas as holding lots of heat, producing high heat conditions and thick smoke. Other things that we want to make sure that we consider as in regards to the seminar when we deliver it is going to be contacting and making sure that our communications with our incident command and our officers and our operations sectors are fully aware of where we are. You need to know where you are within the structure, and you need to constantly communicate that to the powers that be, so they know where you're at on the fire ground at all times. Finally, we're going to be looking at a lot of areas in regards to the relationship between a structure's size and its layout. This incorporates us leaning now towards large area searches. So we're talking searches that may be beyond 4,000 square feet. Maybe it could be a commercial area. Even large residential buildings sometimes warrant the fact that we may need a rope just to stay in touch with the outside world, so to speak, so we can return. There are many mansions and mega mansions in the United States. I know where I come from, we could have 10,000 square feet of a home. These are very large areas. And could you imagine going from that, or even searching a Target store or something like that, or a furniture store. So try to understand that we're going to be going over some of the latest in search rope techniques as well. And we want to make sure that everybody's comfortable with that. You should be training on that, called rope-assisted search procedures. So all this, we hope that you can show up, be there April 8th through the 13th. And I'm not sure what day we'll be on. I think it's April 12th. But we look forward to seeing you. I've got some stuff up here on the board for you called Into the Darkness. This is my communications in regards to my contacts. You can contact me at Mike at Rico Fire Rescue. You can contact a non-for-profit site called RicoFireRescueInc.com. So we look forward to seeing you, and have a good time. Again, great to look forward to being there, doing our thing, and hopefully I'll meet a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. Take care and be safe, brothers and sisters.